Welcome back to my channel again. So in the previous video, in the previous part of this series, Learning Platform App, we have seen this type of layout getting rendered into multiple screens like mobile portrait, mobile landscape, tablets, in portrait mode and landscape mode, as well as we could see it was not for iPhone, it was also for Android. Okay, so now in this end of this video, you will be seeing the second screen in the similar way, like you will be seeing the output in all the platforms, Android, iOS, and tablets. Okay. um, Finally, and then uh, whatever I have done right now, let's see this, what is the output of it. Okay, so I'm clicking on get started and it will navigate you to the second screen. Okay, I have done the first part till here, and also a background for these tabs, but the remaining part is little bit easier. The tricky part was this, so once I am done with this, I am ready for the video. Okay, so now the how it would look in tablet mode or in landscape mode. So I'm rotating this phone, and this is how I have decided that it should look like. This is not as per the specs that has been provided by the designer, but I have thought of like this because I wanted to utilize this space. If I don't put it here, there is a lot empty space. Plus, it makes sense to utilize some of the empty space with some of the fields or some of the text. So that what I have done on my own. So here the tabs will come, okay, and the remaining content will be coming below this. Okay, so the way to do is, first of all, I will remove all of the code which I have already, okay, so that you understand it well. Or let me do it in a way that, okay, since we have a code, so let me just directly explain it to you how I have done it. Okay, so when it comes to um, create changing the layout based on whether the orientation is portrait or landscape, you have to have a different mechanism altogether. So in the previous video, in the first part of this video, for creating responsive layout, we actually used size. Let me go to this size config. Okay, so from previous part, we had these five things: text multiplier, image size multiplier, and height multiplier. And I think we didn't have this. Okay, so we had only three parts, right? I have added three more. Width multiplier, I found that it was not an issue, but I found that it makes sense to use width multiplier if you are adding it to a padding widget or some type of where you have to get the width. So use width multiplier. Okay, don't use height multiplier for paddings. If you have to apply vertical padding or padding from top or bottom, you can give height multiplier. But if you want padding from left and right, or padding from horizontal symmetric way, you can use width multiplier. So this is what we will be using now. A width multiplier is nothing but its block size width. One more change here, I have renamed this variable from block size horizontal to block size width, and block size vertical to block size height. The reason for is very easy. um, the reason for this is very easy because it was not a meaningful name. That's the only reason. Now we know that there is a block, and whose width is screen width by 100. Okay, horizontal and vertical were making it confusing. Even though I can make it block width, which will be more I would say readable name, right? So let's do it right away. um, okay, block width. So we will be using this variable. The changing of this variable doesn't affect any of your code because it's a local variable first of all, and the values of this is getting assigned to your multipliers, which are actually exposed to your layouts. Okay, other these variables are private because they have underscore. Okay, so why we need these two variables? Okay, I will explain it to you. But what is the value that they get when there is a change in the orientation or there is a change in the layout? Like when there is a change in the screen width or height, what this code will be executed. So is portrait is by default true. Okay, so if the orientation of the phone is in portrait, this value should be true, else it should be false, right? Now, there was a case. Let me run it on side by side. Let me run it on iPad first of all. Then I will be more able to explain you easily. Okay, so I'm running this iPad Pro and it's up, so we can close this, stop the task. Yep. So I will just, it will be more easier to show you the differences. Okay. And then I will be telling you, showing you how, why is portrait and where it is used and where is mobile portrait is used. Okay. Yeah, rest all is same. So nothing much to explain there. Only this part is left. Let the iPad open. Okay. So this is the first layout and this is my second layout. Now, can you see that tablet is in portrait mode, right? But it is showing a layout of landscape. So this is the difference. See, a tablet has more width, tablet has more height, right? So you can actually use landscape mode for tablets portrait and tablets landscape. So that's my whole consideration. Let me rotate it. It looks like this, right? So the layout doesn't get changed, right? But for mobile, it gets changed, right? So this way, this is the reason I needed is mobile portrait. The simple reason is, let me print it. What is that? Screen width. Okay, and let me run it. So I'm running in first of all tablet. So it says it gives me 834. Okay, this is the width. Now if I rotate it, this again gives me 834, right? This means it doesn't matter whatever your orientation is, the width of the phone is always, or width of the device is always this thing, and height of the device is always this thing. So when I rotate it, this is the height and this is the width. Fine. So similarly, how I came up with 450. Basically, let me run it in iPhone and let's see what are the values. So 414. So I have considered 450 as the value which decides that it's a mobile. Okay, but when I change it to landscape, um, basically this if doesn't get execute, this else gets executed, and is mobile portrait becomes false, which is explainable because it's not landscape, it's not portrait, and that's why it is false. And for whenever it is a mobile, it means whenever it's a portrait as well as the screen width is less than 450, it will have is mobile portrait as true. Now we are going to use these two values to decide which type of layout to render on basis of whether it is portrait or other values. Okay. So for this type of stuff, we need to have a layout which takes into two children, basically two widgets. Okay. So let me give you the uh, structure for the responsive widget. So this is just a stateless widget which has two children, you can say, or two fields. One is portrait, the other one is landscape. And in the portrait, see, this is required because at least one of the layout you have to give. Okay. So if my is portrait is true, when it will be true? When the mobile is in portrait mode. Okay. Mobile or tablet, any device. This will be true only when it's a mobile and it's in a portrait mode. So I want to load portrait layout provided to responsive widget when it is in portrait or it is mobile portrait. Otherwise, it should load landscape layout. So I have used this in my home screen, which I created. This is the home screen that you will be navigated to when you click on get started. Okay, so this is your home screen. So to navigate, let's go to welcome screen, and in this button widget, I have wrapped the previous widget into inkwell, and only the thing I'm doing is I'm navigating to home screen. Okay, let me close welcome screen, let me close size config. We only now have to deal with responsive widget. Okay, so when you see this type of layout, the first thing that comes to your mind is it is divided into two parts, top and bottom. And when you want to make these layouts as responsive, see, you can use column. Okay, you can give then flexible flex to these columns. Each widget top will have some 4 5, this will also have some 6. Okay, so this is how also you can divide. But the problem with column can be that since you have to use expanded in that, so it will take a whole of the um, means there will be multiple columns inside each other. Like you will have a column, then you will have first child, then inside that again you will have column. So to get rid of that, I have used stack. And the reason for using stack is also justifiable, because you have a background for this and you have other background for this. uh, if you can see this, um, here is some curve, right? So we can clearly say that the screen has this background, and on top of that the top part has this background or this background, and on top of that there is another container. So it looks a bit um, clunky to explain, but the things are very easier here. um, let's talk about a scaffold. I have given background color. This also you can define in your light theme and dark theme, and you can give only one color here. Okay, but based on portrait I have changed the color. The reason for this is very easy. See, in portrait I have app background color, or I would say, one second, yeah, I need same color for both, so I don't need this now. Maybe while coding I got confused and I added that to see some difference, but it looks fine. Okay, as well as in tablet, yeah, looks fine. So let me go to mobile again. Okay, okay, so just see what I have done here. There are two fractional sized widgets inside the stack. First fractionally sized widget is, let me minimize this also. First fractional size widget, size box, has height factor as 0.4, which is this, and the bottom one has 0.6. Obviously I have given alignment top center so that it is on the top, and for this I have given bottom center, so it is starting from bottom. Okay, now let's talk about top part, because bottom part I have not done anything. Okay, so as you can see, this is if I remove this child. Okay, let's see what is the output. In that way you will understand each and every code, how it is written. So you can see the color difference, right? It looks like this. Fine. Now I have to add another container on top of that, right? So here comes my stack. Using stack will be having some benefit. Let us not use a stack now. Let's see. Yeah, so what is the issue with this? Okay, basically stack takes all the, okay, but I have used stack to add tabs here. That's why I'm using stack. So let the stack be here. Don't worry about that. And this containers border you have seen already. That's fine. Okay, now here comes my responsive widget. uh, let me make top container portrait so that you forget about whether it's responsive or not. We are just using top container portrait any of the case, right? So let's load this. So for mobile it looks like this, and for landscape it looks like this. Now this is huge issue. You have scaled your text, you have scaled your images, but there is no space for the content which was looking fine in portrait is not looking fine in landscape. That's why I told you you need to have two different types of, or three, four, five different types of layouts, or widgets that render themselves render themselves differently in portrait mode or landscape mode or any other configuration that you want to handle. That's why I have created two things, top container portrait as well as top container landscape. And now when I run it, it looks like this. So we will first talk about, it's very easy. I don't think I have to explain it to you, but I will do it. And so I will talk about first how this is created and how easy it was to change it to look like in landscape as well. Okay, so this is complete till here. I want some container to have this yellow background. Okay, and so I have taken again a fractionally. Oh, I got it. So I got it why I'm using stack here. The reason is very easy. Since fractionally size box is going to be inside stack, okay, in any of the cases, right? So that's why I use fractionally sized box. You can say that fractionally sized box has a parent stack, okay, which has it should probably have two children. Right now it has only one, so the height of first one is 0.8 and the other one has the remaining height. That's the point. And I should also write here alignment top center so that it starts from here, ends here, and the other one will be having bottom center alignment. So it starts from here and ends here, because I will be giving height factor as 0.2 or 0.25 as per I know why to 0.25, so that it covers this curve also. Okay, if it is 0.25, it will be somewhere here. Okay, so it will be covering this smaller yellow part, darker yellow. Okay, so let's move on. uh, I have this fraction size box which is still here. Then I have a curve, so definitely a container. Then there is a box decoration which is having radius vertical, so it has radius for this and this, right? Because I have given bottom. And then it has a color. Then what happens in this container? It has a column of three items, 1, 2, and 3. So let's see this. Fine. So first is expanded, and then you can see there is a container inside expanded which has max width, and then there is another column. Okay, so this column has multiple children. Basically, why this is needed now this is also a good case to understand. See, when I created this, I added a padding to hold a container and added all these three items in column. But then I found that this has to not have any padding from right side. Only these two items are having padding. So I took these two out of the main column and put it into a different column. And this one item and second item are in a, a container. Basically, it is these two are children of column. Okay, so this is how it is done. Expanded. So basically this expanded, let me show you with outline. Can I, yeah, or inspector, that would be nice. Fine. So as you can see here, okay, it's iPad. Let me just change it to iPhone. Okay, so you can see here, this is one expanded and this is the second expanded. When I click this, or sorry, this one, yeah, this is the expanded and then this is a container, right? Inside this expanded, you have again a container because I need to have some padding, right? So when I click on this container, you can see some padding here from all the portions, left, top, right, bottom. And then again, there is a column to have two items. So basically this is a column. Then it has expanded. Why expanded? Because I want it to have equal height. Okay, it has two children, it is both are having equal height. Then there is a row inside it which has two items, uh, or three items I would say. One is a profile, then this title which takes the remaining of the space, and then there is an icon. Okay, so now I think this is all okay. This is not an issue. The thing is, we have to see how landscape is done in this case. So we'll go to landscape now and make it as landscape, and we will see how things are done. So if you can see here, cannot explain now. So little bit more. I just wanted to know how you can change the uh, change the structure of your layout easily. So I took this field complete. I took this expanded field from here, from this uh, part to this row. Okay, so basically it's in the row now, and in the row again you have profile image expanded, and earlier you had profile image expanded which had the harmonica text and the icon. Now these two things are doing some things. They This expanded contains the row, basically contains a field, edit field, and then there is a spacer so that there is a this doesn't go much bigger. So I have added a spacer, and then there is also icon already existing. So this is how you can change the layout. And I believe if I put this code on GitHub, you will be able to understand more clearly. So now we will be doing the bottom part as well as lessons and classes. Okay, so this is how you can change the layouts. Like this is for landscape and this is for portrait. And once you go in responsive widget, you have given portrait layout, you have given landscape layout, and this is required, this is optional, but it will be loaded. And yeah, one more thing, because this can be the case that you have not provided landscape layout and then this will fail. So we are fixing this issue right now. Let me not provide this. Fine, there will be no issue because landscape layout is not required. So let's run it. Now it is running and there is an error, definite error. The error says a build function return null. Simple, because what happened, if I put debugger as well, it will build, it will go into this condition is false, so it will try to load landscape layout which is null. So what you can do, you can load portrait layout if landscape layout is not provided. That's it. And then if you run, you have this layout. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you have this layout, and this is your mistake now because you want to handle landscape, so you should provide landscape layout, right? Hence, you have to do this, and it works now. So now I am going to tell you how to create lessons, my classes, and these two things. Probably this whole screen will be scrollable, so I will make it like that. And in landscape mode also nothing much to do. I think in landscape mode also, if you can imagine, popular will come here, then there will be two cards, and it will be scrollable. So probably we will add a scrollable on top of this, and the whole screen will scroll. So nothing have to be done um, structural wise for these remaining things. um, uh, yes, nothing has to be changed for portrait and landscape mode for the remaining part of the screen. Okay, so I'm going to do it very quickly in front of you. Sure. Okay, let's start with the tabs first of all. So we are in this stack, and we have this responsive layout. Then we will have tabs. Simple. And before that, as I told you, responsive layout is nothing but having a fractional size widget. This means something. So my tabs should also be um, inside a fractional size widget. Okay, so it will be having height factor of 0.2, because you will be telling, oh, 0.2 plus 0.8 plus 0.2 equals to 1. That's okay, I will go with it, and I will tell you why 0.2 is not the right choice. Okay, anyway, we will have let me have some child to this tabs. Yeah, Let me create a new widget so that we can take it out sometime later. And then in tabs we have the tabs are considered just as a row with having two elements, both of them expanded. Okay, so we will have a row expanded, right? What will be the child? Child will be a container. Reason for this is we need a color, background color, as well as we need some decoration, right? So color will be app theme dot selected. This I have already made, so it's not a big deal. We just have to use the colors now, and for this I will have unselected background color, right? Now then for the first container you have child text. What is the text? So you know we already have defined all the strings. If you are not aware of, then let's see this file. This is the whole file which will contain all the constant strings. So lessons and my classes are the two texts that we are concerned about here. Okay, so strings dot lessons. Then we need styling. So I have already added styling for selected tab and unselected tab. So my selected tab has weight bold. Unselected tab doesn't have anything. It's gray, means it's little bit fade like this, and it's black for selected. Now these light and light have their darker counterparts, and this theme is being added in light text theme, as well as the dark text style is being added into dark text theme with name body1 and body2. Now these are weird names. You can make any of these names, no issues with that. Fine. Otherwise I couldn't find any of these, that's why. Okay, so we will come back to this file, and we have text theme dot of context, text theme dot body1, because it's a selected one. And if we copy this, probably we can copy whole child, and then body2, and my lessons become my classes. Okay, let's see the output. Okay, you can see in the center. Okay, let's bring them down. So the easy way to bring them down is, first I have added this here as well. The easiest way is give the alignment, otherwise the default alignment will be in the center. Alignment dot bottom center, as I told you earlier. So they come at bottom. They are equally balanced, no problems. Now, since in the container you have this text, the text is left aligned, so we need to wrap it with center element center. So there are two shortcuts. First you can press Alt Enter or Option Return in Mac, and then center the widget, or you can just select it, go here and use this. This is also a center widget. So this will make it center as well as this text as center. So with UI you can do it, right? Now can you see this edge? Right, you cannot see it here, but definitely here similar things are happening here. Okay, so to overcome this, you have to increase the height of this bottom fractionally sized box, and that has to be 0.25. Okay, the gap is gone. Now you can see this fractionally sized box is coming on top of this box. Why? Because it's in a stack, and the first element goes at the bottom. So it's normally like a stack. You have first in, last in, I don't know, first in, last out. It's LIFO, last in, first out. I don't know. I know, but I don't want to discuss that here. Okay, so see this. The element which is inserted first in the stack is at the bottom of the stack, and the elements written after them are on top of the bottom elements. So this is what I wanted to explain here. Now we don't have curve here, and yes, we don't have curve. Plus this 0.25 has made many things bad for us, because you know it is not in center now. Yep. So what you can do here? Um, Probably you can add some padding, right? So what we will do, we will go to this center and add a padding like this. This is the padding, yes. So padding, only top we need, rest we have taken care. Since it's we are talking about top, so we have to take height multiplier. Okay, and let's see. Yeah, so this has come a little down. Make it 1.5. Yeah, this is perfectly fine now. And same with this. So let's wrap this center widget in padding and then change this, right? So this looks fine. Now we need to have decoration for it, right? Um, how to add decoration? We have this container. First of all, remove this color, add decoration, box decoration. You can paste the color, and then you can have border radius, right? Only vertical you need, because we need at the bottom, not at the top. So it can be 2.2 into size dot, anything you can take now. I would suggest height multiply because it's again bottom thing. So orientation issues. Oh, I got it. So this has to be inside radius dot circular. Yep, this looks fine. Same thing we can copy and use here, except the color. Yep, looks great. We can add, we can increase the radius a bit, or you can take a reference. Whatever radius you have given to this container should be same with this container. So we will go here and yes, it is 3. Is this the one? Yeah, this is the one. So this is the radius. Sometimes you can also make these type of things as a variable, okay, and then use it all through your app, because in that way you will have constant or consistent radius. Okay, now that this is done, we will move to this part. Okay, okay. So I forgot to show you the landscape version of this. Well, this is wrong. This is what happens. There are many ways to deal with this. First of all, why this has happened? So probably you can see, go to top container landscape and see the differences. As I can see here, fractionally sized box has alignment top center in top container portrait, but in top container landscape, it doesn't have alignment. That's why it is coming in the center of this layout. Okay, so we have to fix it by making it on the top center, and then it has moved up, not doing anything wrong to other parts. Now deal with this thing and deal with the text. So it turns out that adding padding is wrong for landscape. We don't need to add padding. So if I remove this padding or I make it 0, it looks good. So okay, we will consider this fact. Then again, if I talk about this curve, why this is happening? The simple reason for this is the height factor is 0.75 here, but in portrait it was 0.8. And since it was zero point 0.8, because it was 0.8, we made this fractionally sized box 0.25. So if it is 0.75, we should make it as 0.3. Okay, let's see. Again, there are some differences, so we can make it 3.5, right? So this looks fine for landscape. Now we have come with a solution. We can have padding, but we have to change this height factor. So there are multiple ways to do that. Um, you can basically do it like this: size config dot, or yeah, size config dot is okay, is portrait is mobile portrait, then have 0.25, otherwise have 0.35. Let's run it. So now it looks like this here, and here like this. So this is how you have fixed the issue. See, it's simple. Yes, yes, it's simple. So now we can happily move to, oh, let's run it in tablet since we have seen that. So let's try that in landscape as well. It's launching. After this, I will be working on this part. It's being a delay, but we are making things perfect as we are going forward. Okay. And you should check your layout in all the phones, whatever you are targeting, as and when you finish your stuff. Okay. So this looks bad again. Um, yeah, it looks bad. Here also it looks little bad. So basically we have to find a solution where it should be in center. It's probably in center, but this lessons uh, is in center of this container which is having height till here. So it's in center, but it's not looking good. So let me find a solution for that. Okay, so we have found the solution for this. It turns out that padding is not right thing. Padding is not good. You please avoid padding. Instead of this, replace your center with align and give it an alignment of your choice. How you can give 0 point. Let us give 7 just to explain you how align works. Alignment. So what is this 0? This is x and this is y. For x level, we don't need to shift it from left or right. We want to shift it top and bottom. So we will only deal with y. Now let's see the output in this. 0.7, 0.7, this is 0.7. Okay. Let me make changes. 0.5 moved up. So it turns out that 0.3 or 0.35 is a perfect value. Now this you have to play with, man. And see this on rotating also it looks good. Now we will run in iPhone XR and it looks good here as well. Not only for landscape, it looks good for portrait as well. And if you feel that it is not looking good, then you have all the options to make it 0.35 for landscape, 0.3 for portrait. So it's all up to you. What I see is we can change it like this. Let's use, if it is mobile portrait, let's use 0.35, otherwise 0.3, and the same thing should be copied for this. And then it looks fine in mobile as well. So now we will go. Hello guys. I would say we had to change a lot many things to make it work, and it's very hard to create a responsive layout. It's not that easy. The easiest part that I thought was this one to create, but this small thing changed everything. So let me give you a overview of the code. So initially it didn't have single child scroll view. It had stack, and then it didn't have container. It had fractionally sized box. But now we have this container. Now the difference between using a container in a column and in a single chat scroll view was that we have constrained this container's height. So the issue when we use single child scroll view and the children don't have a specific height will be solved by using constraints and providing a max height. So okay, see, stack could have been easily replaced by column because we had two items one below each other. So for that we can use this column as well, right? So we use column. Now in column you have seen everything has to be in a flexible widget or expanded widget, but there is a workaround for that. You don't need to have expanded, but you need to give height to your container. Now when we use fractional size box, we knew that this portion from here to here was 40% of the screen, so which means 40 blocks with respect to height. So for the container my height became 40 into height if it is mobile portrait, or into width if it is uh, not mobile portrait. So it became like this. Okay, if I don't do this if condition, it shows very weird results. Okay, um, fine, let me show you what is weird about that. So I will not use this. I will only use height multiplier, and I will remove this everything. Done it. So as you can see in landscape this increased. Why? Because it is using 40 into height, not the width. It should use this thing. That's why. And in phone it looks more weird because phone has very less width and according to height it takes. So because of that, it takes half of the screen. Although it looks good, but the tab you know it takes half of the screen. So for that we need to revert it. Fine. Okay. Then rest of the things remain same. This is a stack, no doubt in replacing that. Then we have a container below that. Basically this container is nothing but the container which has constraints 100 of height multiplier. Why I have given 100, I could have given 60. If I give 60, what happens? It becomes same as fractionally sized box having 6.6 height factor. So let me run it in iPad, and these images become smaller. Since we know that we have a lot of content coming in, so we can decide that it has height this much. Okay, and based on its child, it should not give any error. Let's see, it works fine. If you make it 80, it is fine. If you make it 670, let me rotate it first. Yeah, and let's see from here. So let me run it. So the image sizes become very much lesser because they are relied on this container. Okay, they have to be inside this container. So this container has to be a bigger size, whatever you want. Okay, but in phones it will look good. So see this. This is landscape, and if I make it portrait, this is smaller image. So again, the same concept. Make the image, uh, develop for mobile first, and then see whatever you like. This is repeated content. You can make another card for it. I have made a portrait card. Okay. Okay, fine. So this is the main change in this. Now the thing is, if I use fractional size box, I cannot put 1 there because the sum of both the fractional size box has to be 1, and you add 0.4 plus 1, it becomes 1.4. But in a if two containers are there having different heights in a column, and that too in a scroll view, these things work. So here column will be the best option. Then you might be thinking, changing height of this is changing image size. The reason is simple. Container contains the images. So image height, image width cannot be greater than the container. Okay. So when I created this portrait card, the thing to remember or thing to see here is, um, you give your image a container which should have a constraint here as well. If I try to remove it, I think nothing will break. Let's see if something breaks. Okay, so actually now your images are not constrained. Okay, your images are not constrained with these constraints, which is somewhat okay, because you are getting your height and width of the image from your bigger container, and that width or that height also you have decided. So this is the way you can proceed. Then this is the container. I'm explaining about this portrait. Let me get it. This card I'm explaining about. So it has a clip R rect, and which has an image inside it. Then this container also has a decoration which has some edges and text and the subtitle text. So this is how it is written. One expanded padding, and that's it. So this padding contains two items because I wanted to add some left, top, bottom, and right padding. So I have added that. That's why they are in single widget. And yeah, I have added cross-axis alignment to everything, all the columns, so that it becomes left aligned. And yeah, this is the way you can do it. So as you can see, this is how it looks in mobile, portrait and landscape, and in tablet it looks very nice. Okay, uh, like this. Okay, now let's also run it in Chrome. We have not run it earlier, so to run it in earlier, I am on channel dev. I wrote a command flutter create dot, and because of that I got these folders for web, and we don't have to do anything else other than this. All the assets, all the fonts are being handled for us by this tool. This is how it looks on browser. Okay, get us started. Just click on this and you can see in the desktop, right? As you increase the width, yeah, everything increases. But there is an issue again. If I try to decrease it, there are some issues in this. So that can be probably handled in next videos, or I can, yeah, I will think about what to show you in next videos. So till then, thank you for watching the video, and happy learning Flutter. And let me know in the comment section how did you uh, take this video, and anything that you want me to improve on and you want me to make a video on. So yeah, thank you guys. I will